and welcome to our English news edition broadcast to you by Canal Algérie. First, to the headlines. The President of the Republic officially invites the custodian of the two holy mosques to attend to the upcoming Arab Summit to be hosted by Algeria. Representing the President of the Republic, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman takes part in the state funeral procession of Queen Elizabeth II in the presence of the main world leaders. And the International Public Works Fair kicks off with the participation of 140 national and international enterprises, and Qatar is the honored guest. The insulin production plant is to be reopened shortly in Constantine province following the visit paid by the pharmaceutical industry minister to the province. And the Sahrawi militant Sultana Khaya is warmly welcomed in the Spanish city of Bilbao, the first institutional visit of this activist to the Basque country. Good evening, those were the headlines. First, our news, and in his capacity as a special envoy of the President of the Republic, the Justice Minister Abdelrashid Tabbi handed on Monday an invitation letter sent by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, to his brother, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, the custodian of the two holy mosques, in order to take part in the proceedings of the next Arab Summit slated for the next November in Algeria. The invitation was received on behalf of the Saudi King by the State Minister in charge of Foreign Affairs and member of the Council of Ministers, Adel Al Jubair. On this occasion, the Justice Minister instructed Adel Al Jubair to convey the greetings of the President of the Republic to his brother, the custodian of the two holy mosques, wishing to witness the active participation of Saudi Arabia in the summit. For his part, the Minister Adel Al Jubair hailed the President of the Republic's intense efforts in order to guarantee the best conditions for the holding of an exceptional summit, which will represent a decisive step to unify the Arab ranks. Al Jubair affirmed Saudi Arabia's availability to actively contribute in the preservation of the Arab nation's unity. Furthermore, both parties put forward the high-level political relations between Algeria and Saudi Arabia. They also stressed the importance of boosting bilateral relations up to the aspirations of the leaders as well as peoples of the two brotherly countries. Representing the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman took part on Monday in London in the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland and countries of the Commonwealth, in the presence of several world leaders. The coffin of the Queen Elizabeth II arrived on Monday morning to Windsor Palace, where she was privately buried in the chapel of St. George in Windsor Castle. In a related topic, and during his participation in the funeral ceremony of Queen Elizabeth II, Algeria's premier met King Charles III and other members of the royal family, who expressed their profound gratitude for the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, for Algeria's high-level presence, which proves the depth of the cooperation and friendly relations between the two countries. On this occasion, the Prime Minister also met several world leaders with whom he held discussions on the bilateral relations. They also instructed him on the occasion to convey their greetings to the President of the Republic. In other news, the Speaker of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goujil, received on Monday at the Council's premises a parliamentary European delegation presided by the head of the Commission for Relations with the Maghreb countries and the Arab Maghreb Union, Andrea Cozzolino, as well as the co-chairman of the Algerian EU Parliamentary Mixed Committee. The meeting was an opportunity to review the political and economic relations between Algeria and the European Union, as well as the capacities of the Algerian European parliamentarians to raise the level of these relations. And concerning parliamentary cooperation, the National People's Assembly held the proceedings of the first Algerian European Union Parliamentary Commission, which was marked by the participation of members of both chambers. It is worth noting that the declarations on the most important decisions in the fields of cooperation and coordination were signed. And the same delegation was received by the Energy Minister Mohamed Arqab in the meeting centered on promoting bilateral cooperation, notably in the energy and mining sector. And in a different story, and after an absence of 2 years, the International Public Works Fair kicked off with a large national and foreign participation, above all Qatar, which was the guest of honor. Story by Sabrin Deferganit.
In Safek's exhibition palace, the 18th edition of the International Public Works Fair kicked off after 2 years of absence due to the pandemic. This economic event gathers 140 national and foreign exhibitors coming from 9 countries, including Italy, Turkey, Tunisia and Qatar, as a guest of honor. Our presence here proves the strong relations we have with Algeria. In this event, we met with numerous professionals of important public works and other infrastructures, including airport and port ones, to expand the exchange opportunities between the two countries. It is an opportunity for the exhibitors and to display the national capacities, to see how we can use them in revitalizing the public work sector. Events like this help partnerships and make exhibitors well known. We work in the hydraulic and public works sector in Algeria. We have already completed 5 projects with AMBT, including the dam project in Sghanem, the treatment station and other projects of water transfer in Jijil and Stif provinces, the hydraulic tunnel project in Beni Haroun's dam, and we are currently in the process of achieving 2 projects with the Algerian company in charge of highways, or l'Algérien des autoroutes. Under the motto of Public Works 60 Years of Achievement, this exhibition was also marked by the participation of several startups and other private and public partners in the sector of public works. We came to this exhibition to demonstrate the new technique of stabilization and the treatment of in-situ grounds. This exhibition, that will be closed on the 23rd of September, was the occasion for the signing of several training agreements and technical exchanges in the public works sector, notably with Tunisian and Nigerian partners.
And the insulin plant is to be reopened shortly in Constantine, according to the Pharmaceutical Industry Minister Ali Aoun on a visit to the province. The 2 other factories to produce vaccines against the seasonal flu and cancer are in the oven as well. These moves are meant, in the words of the same speaker, to put an end to the foreign laboratories' speculation. Ali Aoun indicated that Saidal Group is able to achieve these objectives thanks to its human and material resources, reaffirming, by the way, the state's readiness to help in case of need. And 64 years ago, the provisional government of the Algerian Republic is proclaimed, and the Algerian people have now an official representative, a face-to-face for the negotiations with the French colonizer, and a way to attract official recognition on the international scene, said the Minister of Mujahideen, Laïd Biga, during a historical meeting on Sunday morning. on Monday morning. In another context, the Palestinian ambassador to Algeria, Faiz Mohammed Mahmoud Abu Atiyah, hailed Algeria's efforts for the inter-Palestinian reconciliation. As a guest of the forum of a Shab newspaper, the ambassador expressed the wish for the success of this initiative, which will mark a meeting bringing together the Palestinian factions of Hamas, Fatah, and the Islamic Jihad by the beginning of October. Algeria expressed its solidarity with Niger following the floods which hit the country and caused considerable human and material casualties, according to a communique released on Monday by the Foreign Affairs Ministry. In another development, the Kenyan Minister of Foreign Affairs affirmed that Kenya's position concerning the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic is fully aligned with the decision of the Organization of the African Unity to admit the Sadr's accession on August 22, 1982, and African Union's Charter, which calls for the indisputable right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination. Therefore, Kenya aligns itself with the UN Security Council resolution of 1991, which calls for the self-determination of Western Sahara through a free referendum led by the UN and the AU. The number of missing persons in connection with the events which took place in Melilla last June reached 73 people, according to the Moroccan Association for Human Rights. The police of the Makhzen regime brutally killed dozens of sub-Saharan migrants. The association called on the Makhzen authorities to identify the missing migrants and to release all prisoners. In addition, the human rights organizations have called for a rally for Tuesday in front of the Moroccan embassy in Madrid to denounce the killing of migrants by Moroccan forces while they were trying to sail to the Canary Islands. The Sahrawi human rights activist Sultana Khaya was warmly welcomed upon her arrival in Spain by the Sahrawi citizens settled abroad, as well as the organizations supporting the Sahrawi cause. The Sahrawi militant then carried out her first institutional visit, accompanied by the new Sahrawi delegate in the Basque countries, Khadijatu El Mukhtar. More details with Melissa Kabash.
The Spanish airport of Las Palmas has witnessed the presence of a number of Sahrawi citizens settled abroad, alongside solidarity movements of the Sahrawi cause following the arrival of the Sahrawi female activist Sultana Khaya, who was wearing the Sahrawi national flag and was accompanied by a delegation. Sahrawi women of Spain are present here today to welcome Sultana Khaya and show her that she is not alone. We are all by her side fighting for the same cause. As you can see, the human rights activist Sultana Khaya was warmly welcomed. May God preserve and protect her as well as the Sahrawi people. We are all by her side and we will not stop until we gain our independence.
This welcome proves to the entire world the strength and solidarity of the Sahrawi people. We all support Sultana Khaya in her fight to regain the Sahrawi people's independence.
Sultana Khaya then carried out the first institutional visit in this country alongside the new Sahrawi delegate in the Basque country, Khadijatu El Mukhtar. The two have been welcomed by the mayor of Bilbao, Juan Mario Aburto, who was accompanied by the municipal advisor for cooperation, cohabitation and parties, as well as the head of the coordination unit of Western Sahara. The initiative is a telling evidence of the support and solidarity of the international community towards the Sahrawi fair cause.
The long and constant absence of Morocco's king is still raising several questions and plunging the country in a serious constitutional void due to the large prerogatives and powers he has. Story by Sabrin Tefrganit.
The constant and the long absence of Mohammed VI continues to hit the headlines in a country marked by an unprecedented socio-economic crisis, a situation that takes part of the Moroccan and foreign press news. Mohammed VI is not home, totally absent. spending his time between Paris and Gabon, preferring to devote himself to life pleasures. This was reported by Moroccan media, illustrated with a statement of an expert in Moroccan politics in a Spanish newspaper, El Independiente, explaining that the long absence of Mohammed VI is causing a real crisis, since political parties can't and don't know what to do in certain fields, entirely guided by the royal palace. It was also added that the parliament is dependent on the instructions of Mohammed VI, and this time politicians, ministers and the Prime Minister are completely distraught. Even the security services are in desperate case. Even if Mohammed VI has always been absent, this time the situation is seriously getting worse, says the expert. The opinion of many observers is that the long absence of Mohammed VI has worsened the country's problems, a country already weakened by the worst socio-economic crisis of its history. A situation exacerbated by the absence of a legitimate government and the Prime Minister more and more hated by people due to his involvement in financial scandals linked to conflicts of interest. The absence of the king continues to raise questions, and especially the indignation of the Moroccan people finding themselves in a severe social crisis.
The Moroccan protesters took to the streets of Brussels in Belgium in order to denounce the marginalization of the Rif region, in addition to the violent acts of intimidation carried out against the militants of the region. The Moroccan human rights activists also condemned the complicit silence of the European Union and the European governments in face of this situation. The Makhzen regime is facing the worst economic situation as several foreign companies are getting ready to withdraw their investments and leave Morocco for good. More details with Melissa Kobash.
The terrible socio-economic situation faced by Morocco, the violation of human rights, repression and unbearable living conditions are some of many indicators that proves the incapability of the Makhzen regime. Since the installation of Akhanouche's government, the Makhzen has been going through several crises in different fields, hitting all fringes of society.
حنا جدارميه بغينا نتعلموا الدراجات الناريه باش نركبوا على الدراجات الناريه كيدير لنا ليسانس كامل كنشريو ليسانس.
As the gendarmerie, in order to learn how to ride motorcycles, we had to pay fuel with our own money. Even our days off, legally provided by the law, we had to pay 50 dirhams to get them. And if you don't pay, we'll get arrested.
ديالنا عاطينا القانون ان نستبجوا لحد نمشيو لديورنا كيقول لنا والله ما عطيتونا 50 درهم للواحد حنا 80 واحد صافي دير 80,000 ريال في السيمانه تيقول لنا والله الا ما تجمعت لي 80,000 ريال في السيمانه لا خرجتو تيقول لنا غادي نبقى حابسكم هنا كندير لكم الاعتقال في السبت والحد في القشله تبقاو تما في القشله.
Following the crisis witnessed by the economic sector, namely the withdrawal of investments by foreign companies, as it is the case with the German company Siemens that closed its company and let off 500 employees, the economic growth of the country isn't exceeding 1%. The closing of the GMA only worsened the situation already marked by protest movements carried across the Moroccan territory and political tensions of the Makhzen with European countries. Faced with the situation, the Makhzen remained with one solution, which is turning towards the European Union for help, as against the key role of the Moroccan side in containing the migration crisis towards Europe.
And with this, our today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for joining us and goodbye.